just because you're a woman, right? So, but even in those countries, somehow with time, I've found my way.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably tougher in the beginning because, again, in some countries, and men don't even have, like they really literally lock away their women. So men are not used to interacting with women. So when you are all of a sudden there's a woman in the room, they don't know how to behave. So you have to somehow overcome that barrier. And I've worked in all male teams at the beginning of my career. I was not a diplomat then, but I was
teams?
All male. I was the only woman. I'm not going to mention a country, but I was the only woman in the team. And I think for like the first 2 months, literally no one was talking to me. I would go home every night and cry, but because it's so hard, like, just because I'm a woman. But at the end, when I was supposed to leave and go to another country, these men wrote a petition to say, like, can Simone please stay? It was like, honestly, it was nice to see that. And sometimes, I think at the end it was an advantage being a woman once you have overcome this barrier, this obstacle. And even now in Ghana, I say all the time, I do believe I even have better access than a lot of my colleagues, because on the one hand side, I have a lot of female friends even, in this country. And they give me perspectives on the country that maybe my male colleagues don't have. So I feel I get the bigger picture. And obviously then I have all my interactions with the men, with the powers that be, right? Yes. So I really do believe that somehow diplomacy is a natural job for women.
For women? Is it? Do you think it's true?
I think it's true also because I think we're natural communicators, or maybe not natural, but that's how we've been nurtured, if you want. So, right, as a woman, you have to also, because you always have to explain yourself, right? Yeah. In a way, you have exactly. So you have to have the communication skills. I think we are engaging. We like other people. So all the kind of the skill set, the entire skill set you need as a diplomat, I would say you will better find it in an average woman than in an average man. That's not saying that they are not also absolutely brilliant male diplomats.
Very interesting perspective, because I've often wondered if it's a fact that our nature makes us better, could make women successful diplomats just by virtue of the fact that I don't know, we our nature, right, as women. So it's interesting that you share. You say that you spend some of these initial months, 2 months approximately, interacting or not interacting that much with the men on your team. Sorry,
but that was not here in Ghana.
That was not
in another country. No, please don't get
no. I recognize that wouldn't have been in Ghana. Looking at your service, the length of service in Ghana so far. But what did you do on a personal front to motivate yourself to then get up, get out, and keep going up until the point you are at now?
I think it's just I don't even know. It's I'm not someone who gives up. So if you give me a challenge, I really want to prove you wrong. So as I said, I was crying like a lot, and I was so close to just leaving, and I was in a country where I didn't know anyone. I didn't know the language well. So I was really all alone. But I felt like quitting is just not a thing that I would do. And at the end, also, I believe it's, if you tell yourself, hang in there, maybe also the kind of optimism that at the end it will all be fine. We just have to wait a little bit longer. And it turned out like that, like every single time in my life, just not give up.
Yeah, beautiful. Interesting. Now I'd turn to Nanaya Sewasapon, because she's still on Zoom, and then return to you. Now, Nanaya, you serve, obviously, as we know, as the GM here at the EIB Network, but additionally, you are the founder and president of Women in Sustainability Africa. So from where you sit, I mean, the intersection between media, sustainability, how strong would you say the role of media is in communicating this narrative of, be it giving to gain, and what role does sustainability play in that from your experience?
Thank you, Natalie. So, yes, indeed, the media has a big role to play when it comes to um, the sustainability of women and the empowerment of women. I would begin by saying that, first of all, women in media have the first role to play. How have women in media, being it on air, behind the scenes, in management, in production, in programming, how have we, one, represented women in the industry? And two, how have we given or used our roles as opportunities and as opening doors to give rise to the sensitization of issues surrounding women? So these are very important and critical that women do that. And we discussed that during the UN General Assembly last year. It was one of the highlights of conversations because according to a UN report, women representation in media is under 30%. And when you even look at between positivity and negativity, the portrayal of women in media, across media, whether it's in films, in programs, and all of that, in news, women are usually portrayed in a negative light. So, and stereotyping. So these are issues that we need to bring to the forth. In terms of editorial, our newsrooms can do better. How can we tell the female stories or gender sensitive stories in a light that brings more light and more understanding to the plight of women? I believe one of the biggest challenges that the media has not been able to break is the mainstreaming of media, or of the mainstreaming of the empowerment of women, or putting the empowerment of women into the right light, which is that without the empowerment of women, there can be no development in Africa. There can be no development in Ghana. The empowerment of women is an economic tool, is an economic issue. The empowerment of women is not a feminist agenda only. The empowerment of women is big and huge and important for governments, for every man, for every institution, for everyone to get involved, because human beings are the number one resource that any nation or community has. And women make up a majority of the population. So if you are not empowering your women as an economy or as a nation or a continent, then what it means is that half of your population is performing way under capacity. So how do you seek to expand an economy or expand production, expand productivity, expand your GDP? How do you seek to do that when many of your women are below the poverty line? The majority of your women are enjoying less and less of rewards when it comes to economic performance. For instance, in Africa, we say that the informal sector makes up the biggest part of our GDP. And this can be same for Ghana. 70% of our GDP is contributed by the informal sector. And then we also say, and it's a fact, that in Ghana, in Africa, 70% of this informal sector, the contribution are women. So if women make up the 70% of the informal sector, and the informal sector makes up the 70% of Africa's and Ghana's GDP and economy, then how is it that women are the least rewarded in this cycle? So that means policies are not right. They are not gender sensitive. It means activities and rollout plans are not being responsive to what the core issues are. Because until we look at the core issues, even if we say, oh, we are opening doors, we are making women, we want to give room for women, want to make loans for women, we are making those loans available. And we don't follow up with systematic changes where we say, okay, because we realize that the basic African woman is suffering mostly from, let's say, illiteracy. So let's now bring in, let's say, financial models for teaching them personal financing, for teaching them how to run their businesses, entrepreneurship, holding their hand. So that it's not just about the loan, but even the ability to fill a form is already a barrier. And the way the banks and our financial institutions lift the bar, it doesn't make it possible for that average woman, that grassroots woman, who is the woman we must be looking for. This is a woman who is not found in most conferences, who cannot be found in most of the spaces where the interventions are being given. So if this woman cannot even cross a barrier, a mental barrier, or cross a barrier of being able to fill a form and being able to provide evidence of financial cash flow in their bank account, then this woman is disenfranchised from receiving that facility. Meanwhile, she's the one who needs it. So I believe that the media must be championing issues like this. And I say it, and I refer to me in inclusion, including you, Natalie, to all of us, and every media in Ghana and across Africa. We must be doing more. These are the things that we must be holding institutions to, holding government to. That, well, you've brought out this program. You said women's world banking.
Yeah.
You said you have to provide these funding for women. You said this capital is available for women. What systematic plans? What are the fine details? How are you ensuring that a woman living in a Krupon corner somewhere, a woman living who is farming in Savelugu, a woman doing cross-border trade across the Togo-Volta border, how are you ensuring that that woman is going to have access to these funds? And it's not just going to be to some women in the capital city or in some cities across the country who have the wherewithal, who have the intellectual capacity or the literacy levels to be able to fill forms and access these loans. These are the conversations that I believe as media we must be having.
Absolutely. Those are such incredibly salient points, Nanaya, that you make there. And I believe it brings me very well to my next question. And that's to you, Pearl. You work as a trader. I mean, we just heard Nanaya highlights the issue of the contribution that women make to the informal sector in Ghana. Yes, we've got this administration, for instance, talking about the things like a women's development bank and so on, and there are various interventions for women. What's your challenge as a trader, a female trader in Ghana, and how do you think that the space can be improved?
I think as a coordinator for Guta Women's Wing of Traders, the coordinator national for Ghana, a lot has been done. I would say traders of yesterday are not traders of today. You may ask why so. This cross-border trading, national trading, asset group of women. Why do I say asset group of women? My sister does the raw materials. Me, I'm a farmer myself and a trader myself. We are the asset group of women. We take over from their manufacturing and we sell it in the markets. If we are not there, they can't produce. After production, where do they take the goods to? They bring it to the markets. And we have to make sure locally our products are being sold, either through exports or through the local markets. We look through in all these things. And financially, we do sanitization for the women, bookkeeping, finance, all. We make sure traders of today, at least, are a little bit educated upon these things. Through the banking system, a trader will just pick the phone. She will know where to go. If the bank sends something to her on loan, on credit or loan, she knows where to go. If gone are the days where you tell her 20% and you start paying the 20%, no. If it goes a bit further, it may surprise you to know that a trader will sit here, you use calculators, you use their mind. No, that be Jane. She'll go to the bank and have this charisma, boldness, and talk to the bank manager. I think you've deducted more than you have to deduct to. So traders, we go very far along as yesterday. And the cross-border traders, they are abused. As what happened recently in Burkina Faso. Our women are being abused. If you are being abused, where do we go to? Which table do we report to? On the corridors of cross-border trading. Let me bring this story in. My vice president. She went and from AFCTA, the through the education of ASC after.
After, yes.
She went to Kenya and she bought a whole container of batteries. Upon the goods arriving in Ghana, it was a whole ballroom altogether. It was a whole ballroom. It wasn't as she was told. It wasn't as she was educated.
Okay.
You see, so all these things, we channel it through all these areas. And it was a flap. Where does she go to? Only God. Who does he cry to? Only God. Because then she's on her own.
Yeah. Which is a problem.
Very big problem as such.
Yeah.
And I give thanks to Dr. Joseph for being the previous GHOne president, who made me the coordinator for the women's wing. And I will say by no means he didn't make a mistake, because we pulled ourselves together as women, and we were able to stand firm as women traders. The people keep saying, we do impulse buying. No, now we are being educated. Let's say GH can just come in, educate with the women. GIZ can just come in, educate the women. Swiss Embassy can just come in, educate the women, and we are being well educated. We don't do impulse buying again. Most of the goods are impulse buying, yes, I wouldn't go
deny
beyond
that.
Yeah. But then now, women of traders of today are more enlightened about their trading business. We are more enlightened about our trading business. Let me give another example. If you say a local business trader and a person who goes, let's say, to China, women of today now understand the essence of currency, the essence of borrowing, the essence of making Ghana proud. We, let's say from trading, we go into manufacturing. Yes, it will surprise you to know most of this manufacturing are owned by traders. We go into manufacturing, and the manufacturing comes back to a certain group of women, to the market. So you see now, the trading system is not like the traders of yesterday. We are in the modern trading system. And to top of that, most of the SMEs, 85%, we are traders. 85% of SMEs.
Of SMEs in Ghana,
are traders. SMEs in Ghana are traders. And most of these ones too are women. So either you the left wing or the right wing. Women have what? We've really gone so far in terms of trading. Cross-border trading, international trading, export trading, import trading. We've really gone a bit ahead. And sustainability has been our trademark.
That's okay. I mean, it's.
And we sensitize ourselves a lot.
Right. It's good to know that, as you put it, the women are more knowledgeable. Are more knowledgeable
about
the trading. Yeah. You may not be educated in the formal education system,
but we are knowledgeable.
But you're knowledgeable, which is very is very important. Now, Simone, Her Excellency Simone Giga. Briefly, it was being highlighted by Pearl. I mean, some initiatives, be it of, you mentioned GIZ, you even highlighted the Swiss embassy. As an ambassador, as a Swiss ambassador in Ghana, what's your assessment and observation of the women in the, be it SME, women traders, women in business in Ghana? And what's the level of collaboration between the Swiss embassy and the various agencies?
Okay, two questions that you ask. First of all, I have to say, what I find amazing about Ghana and what I really also love about this country is that women are actually quite powerful wherever you go. And being an ambassador, so I'm active in actually many different sectors, right? We have like an economic department. I'm in the political and the policy space. I'm in the culture space. So I feel like I've really a very broad overview. And I've also traveled in the country, and wherever I go, I meet like influential women, that from all walks of life who have really found their way. So I find it very impressive, and I think it's something that Ghana can be very proud of. And I also, maybe just one puzzle that I always mention is that while Ghana is so far ahead, sometimes even more far ahead than my own country, right, in terms of gender equality and women empowerment, one area that stands out is really the political sphere, and I know that's not today's discussion.
Yeah, but you can highlight it.
But it's really one puzzle, as I said, and it's in a way also a mystery. Why do you not have more female representation in politics? So, and I believe that's one of the things that is really holding Ghana back structurally. Now, what we do as the embassy is that we try to be, and I'm also very blessed to have a team who is like fully on board with me on that. So we always try to reach out to women and have a deliberate, if you want, so female empowerment component in anything we do. So even if we do a cultural activity, like we would highlight like female artists, or we have our development cooperation program where we work in different value chains, and we were very intentional about working, for instance, in shea, in cocoa, also with female farmers. We work in the textile sector, which is very much women-dominated. So in everything we do, also when we have a lot of Swiss enterprises here in Ghana, around 70. And I would do breakfast meetings just with the female CEO. So in everything we do, I really try to provide a platform and give a space to women. And hopefully it's a win-win situation, because as I said, I'm also immensely benefiting from that, because women always give me another perspective, that adds to like my understanding of the country.
Right. Interesting. I mean, it's brilliant to know that you, regardless of the sector, you highlight the female aspect in everything. And
as I said, everybody in the embassy is on board. I don't even have to mention it anymore. It's just something that comes naturally to us.
That's really lovely. Now, one thing that strikes me from what you said, and of course that's not the focus of our discussion, but I believe it's an open discussion, and you say it's commendable, the power of strong women in Ghana across various regions and sectors. And it's also concerning slightly the level of women that we have in the political field. I mean, this has also been celebratory, because many people celebrated the fact that this administration decided to pick a female vice, which is good. Which is fantastic. But on another hand, it may not be enough in terms of women representation in politics, right?
Absolutely, I agree. And I mean, there are different indexes. A very famous one is from the World Economic Forum called the Gender Gap Index. And there are 180 countries on it. And I think Ghana scores something like 145 or something.
We have to check that.
And it is only because you're doing well on most, like it's a composite index. And you're doing so well because of the political representation part, right? So, or maybe the 145 is actually on the political side, and I think you're slightly better on the composite index.
Okay.
But it's and I believe this is a structural problem that the country has. If you really, because you have everything going for you, right? You have the women. Hopefully also you have the supportive men.
Right.
But there's something in the political system that is holding women back. And someone mentioned before, so it was Anaya who said, in the media, how they portray women. That is certainly one of the factors that is also probably inhibits women to actually choose this as a career path. And I was actually once asked in an interview, would you, and we were talking about female representation in politics, and the interviewer asked me, would you vie for office? Would you run to be an MP in this country? And I said, no, I don't believe I am thick-skinned enough to really go out there, listen to all the harassment, the discrimination. So I talked to a lot of politicians, like female politicians, and I have the greatest admiration for them, because they go in the evening on social media, they see all the comments, and they just have to have the ability to disconnect and say, like, look, that's another world that doesn't concern me. I'm like gonna go to bed and sleep now. So it is hard, and really I think no one should blame the women for not being out there and contesting. you have to change the conditions to make them like more enabling for women to really have an interest and incentives to run for office.
Absolutely. Very key points there. And I believe, Nanaya, that you're still with us on Zoom. I would hope so, because I would want to very briefly take your perspective with regards, okay, wonderful, with regards to this issue before, of course, we engage Bree and Charity briefly as well. You just heard the political issue aspect come up, and that's of particular interest to me because women in business is key, and we have quite a number, as was highlighted as well by Pearl. But what would you say? You talk about the relevance of the media in terms of our role in better portraying women. What more can be done from where you sit? And I know that you have some key engagements as well from various agencies politically. What do you feel is holding women back, Ghanaian women, in that aspect, and how can we improve the playing field?
Okay, thank you, Natalie, for the question. If you would permit me, I would want to take it from 2 points, the political point and then the economic standpoint, as far as women contribution are concerned. So politically, so last year, I also attended the Women Political Leaders Conference in New York.
Great.
It brought together various heads of state, presidents globally, across Europe, Africa, and the rest. And of course, women who are either empowering other women to be in politics or women who are aspiring to be political leaders themselves. And it was an interesting conversation we had. And some of the points that's highlighted by Her Excellency Simone was mentioned. It was exciting to know that there are programs like what the former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, is doing. And I mentioned that particularly because it's not often the case that we see women use their authority, use their star power, use their resources to empower other women. And that is something that I will continue to push. But what Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is doing is she's empowering women across Africa to go into politics. And there are many other programs like that. And it is important women become part of decision-making bodies in Africa. If we check the African political landscape, we see that a lot of decisions are politically inclined. A lot of decisions that affect women, our economies, business, the business climate, industry, are all, politically inclined. Civil society is not so much involved, or the private sector is not so involved. Africa's government has quite a heavy hand when it comes to enforcing policies or creating policies. That is why it's very important for women representation in politics or across the political landscape be taken seriously, and more women should get involved. We must be part of the decision-making process. I know that somebody would say, I do not, and most women actually say that they do not want to be a part of it because of how our politics is done in Africa. Very crudish and prudish, very much against the woman or the feminine gender. If you're a woman and you are in that space, it's either you are a commercial sex worker or you are tagged as, something else.
Right.
Last 2 weeks, the presidency hosted some of us in media, women in media, with the political leaders across Ghana. So women and it was quite an interesting conversation. We had all these conversations. So that is on the political side. Now, on the economic side, I've engaged women across various continents, including the Arab world, across Africa, in Europe, in the Americas, and quite frankly, the issues are similar. The issues that women face, there are some differences and all of that, and especially for Africa, most of our issues are economically engendered. The basis of most feminine issues or women issues are economically, sensitive.
Right.
So until we improve ourselves economically as women and begin to see that we have also been empowered to be able to make ends meet and to make economic viable projects happen, it would not be helpful for us as far as we are pushing for the empowerment of women is concerned. Now, what I always say is that why will a woman only think to be the owner of a boutique. When you can dream and think as far and as bigger as you can ever be, you can become the factory, the factory or the manufacturing organization that is manufacturing either the threads that are used to make the fabric or the fabric themselves. Or you are making them, you're making the clothes yourself, and on such a large scale, that you are even exporting it aside the internal consumption.
Right.
These are the bold projects that women must be making. We're thinking too small. Most of the majority of the women, and kudos to the women who are doing it big out there, but we must encourage all other women to start seeing, because until they begin to see that vision, until they can visualize the possibility of being able to move from A to B. I love what Pearl, I believe it was Pearl who mentioned that it becomes so that women who are involved in trade becomes women who are involved in manufacturing, because
Yes,
when you start
Pearl,
doing
right.
trade business, especially across overseas like China with countries like China and the rest, which I actually do. I have many other businesses as an entrepreneur. I have my own brand of baby diapers, which I manufacture in China. When you go, you see the possibilities. The international trade fairs that happens in October and in February. And if you're a woman and you are listening, please make sure that you are a part of it. It happens in Guangzhou. It's the world's biggest trade festival. When you go there, you find thousands of manufacturing companies who are ready to manufacture your products for you. So you don't need to bring somebody's brand in. It's good to have your own brand. Then you can escalate and scale it from there. Also, you need to visit the factories and see how they are making these products so that you can begin to invest in manufacturing the products in Ghana yourself. That way, we'll be able to provide more economic benefit to our nation. So, for just to end the statement, for Women in Sustainability Africa, there are a couple of projects that we are launching. Last week on Thursday, we held the African Women's Health and Wealth Forum, where we taught women, a lot about health. We had conversations with them, and then how to also build wealth. And another project that we have is the industrialization opportunity that we have. We're working with AFTA and a couple of other organizations to bring industry to women, to make women more involved. So what I just elaborated, we want to make women stop thinking about just owning small ventures to seeing big things. But it can only be done so if we show them how to do it. And so plans are underway to do that. And we're looking for partnerships and collaborations to be able to do that. And in everything that we're doing, of course, EIB Network is part of it. And I must say that EIB Network is an organization that takes the plight of women seriously. And so we go the whole 9 yards. We talk about women issues. In fact, I was at a conference last week, and EIB Network was clapped for the mental health issues that we talked about, because we raised mental health issue also at the African Women's Health and Wealth Conference. And there was that conversation that of all networks in Ghana, EIB, GHOne TV specifically, has been championing mental health, especially as far as women is concerned. So we'll continue to do more and more to support.
Absolutely. Very well said, Nanaya. Thank you. I really do value and appreciate your insights on this issue and the perspective that you bring to bear on it. And I mean, not to be biased, but certainly, yes, GHOne TV and EIB Network in itself does a lot in terms of supporting and projecting women. Now, there's a key point that Nanaya raised that I think could sit well with you. Some of these economically viable projects for women. I mean, first of all, knowing about them. She was highlighting this event, this gathering in Guangzhou in China. And just, you mentioned the AFTA, AFCFTA, and the opportunities it presents. I think there are many women who are not even well informed enough about the opportunities that AFTA brings. So from where you sit, Bree, in the fashion sector, and yours is unique because of the physical challenge, as we term it, as well. And I think it's a very unique and quite a powerful positioning as well. What challenges do you find in that regard? I mean, in terms of the support that is available to you as a female fashion designer and physically challenged, as it's put?
I would say, first, even getting to know about where there is support. You would rarely hear about these things. You hear about it after the fact. So then it's of no use.
It's of no use.
And then when you do hear about it, too, like there's so much like red tape to pass through before you actually get it.
Yeah.
And so it has been a challenge because I've done a lot of projects where we wanted to help people, and at the end of the day the funding becomes an issue because those who promise to help will not end up helping you. So you have to do things out of pocket, out of the benevolence of charitable people here and there. So it has been a huge challenge. It has been a huge challenge in that regard. But I think the key will be actually knowing where to go when these things, like these opportunities, and actually having them open to more people like us to be able to be beneficiaries of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So talk to me a bit more about the chain within the fashion sector. I mean, you're a designer. There's obviously the fabrics, the sourcing of them, the manufacturing of them. Run me through that and what the space is like for you and what could be done better specifically in the fashion sector.
Okay, so I'll put myself in a I'm a designer, so I'll put myself in the manufacturing space.
Right.
We take the raw sourcing of fabric, sourcing of accessories and stuff like that. Back in the day was a bit of a challenge. Today it's a lot easier, but it's not easy for everyone. You have to know where to go. Sometimes you have to order things from outside and stuff like that. If you have access to networks of people, like I said, I belong to Business Network International, and that's a global network. So I can easily access somebody in China or here and they're tech, and then they can easily send me something. Somebody doesn't have that opportunity. So how do they get them? They have to rely on what is in Ghana, and it can be challenging. Sometimes it's very challenging to get access to certain types of fabrics and certain types of accessories. Only maybe like one person has it, and then they're gatekeeping it. And
Gatekeeping, right? That's another thing altogether.
And it's difficult for everybody else to get it, or you have to probably go to Nigeria to get it. Nigeria has is a lot bigger in that regard, so it's easier to get things from maybe Nigeria, or if you're ordering from Turkey or China directly. So if you're working very small scale, it's difficult to get certain things. So they'll churn out the same things over and over again, not because they're not creative, but because they only have maybe the same fabric at Makola to deal with, the same accessories, the same trimmings. What they have, it's not that they're not creative.
Not much to play around
but
with,
there's not much to play around with.
Interesting. Nice sense of humor you've got there as well. Now, just a reminder of viewers that if you just joined us, you're watching a special conversation right here on GHOne TV with me, Natalie Ford, marking and celebrating International Women's Day 2026, which is themed Give to Gain. And I've been in conversation with our wonderful panelist of women, Pearl Poku, who serves as a trader, Charity Akotia, Best Farmer for 2023, and many more awards under her belt. Nana Yasewa Sapong joining us virtually, GM for EIB Network, as well as Bri Redu, fashion designer, and of course, Her Excellency Simone Giga, Swiss Ambassador to Ghana. Now, ladies, we will soon be rounding up our conversation, and the theme is Give to Gain, right? We've all highlighted various individuals, male and female, who gave us certain opportunities to be where we are today. What can each of you speak to in terms of what you are doing within your space to create those opportunities for women? And yet again, I'll start with you, Bri, and we'll take it from there.
So one thing I love to do is I love to train people. So I do a lot of trainings of people pro bono, just to equip them with skills, because you can never have more than like enough skills. And the moment you have a skill, no matter where you are, you can easily use that skill to benefit yourself and others. So I do a lot of trainings and workshops pro bono for especially young girls and women, just to help them gain some kind of skill to help them. There was one lady who, a couple of years ago, she was being molested by her dad.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and he was literally holding her like hostage, and I gave her some training in dressmaking, and that training in dressmaking enabled her to escape her dad, set up a business for herself, and free herself from that toxic situation, because she would get pregnant, aborted. Like, it was terrible.
Oh, my.
Yes, it was terrible.
Wow.
And that training enabled her to and emancipate herself and break free from that situation. So yeah, I love to train people and give people skills to help them benefit themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. Whew, that's tough. Well done on the work that you're doing. And Charity, your daughter is one beneficiary, and I'm sure many other women.
Yes.
But what are you doing in your space?
Okay, I put up a training center intending to train a lot of people. But unfortunately, I don't have electricity. I've been appealing to them. They will say, oh, we'll come when we invite.
Where is the center located?
Agona
It's where, okay, Agona Swedru, okay.
So the farm is where I need the electricity is at GHOne Abasa. So I would say that last 2 years, for example, the DCE came there and said, a woman doing this. I said, yes, this is the building I put up for training. But I don't have electricity. So I have to depend upon feed, for example, somebody to produce the feed for me. Meanwhile, when I'm doing that, I will train a lot of people into that, and the profit and the gains in the terms of their building up will help us. But there's nothing like that. So that is my biggest challenge. So the processing, we send it home.
Wow. This is very big. But what has caused that challenge upon? How long has it been that you've faced that challenge?
Oh, very long time. You know, I would say that I established that very farm 2013.
2013, okay, that's a while.
Since then, I've been looking for electricity. They say I have to do the extension myself. I have to buy transformers. So, I can't do that. The little that I'm working with, the moment I use it to extend the electricity to that buy transformer, it means I'm going to, the business is going to collapse. So I need support. So that is my biggest challenge. Because like the sugar craft that we've been doing in the house and other things, we have a very big place that I built. The kitchen is there, everything is there.
This is home.
As I'm speaking now, I bought the feed mill, it is there. I bought the dryer and all those things. It is there. I cannot operate it.
Because of electricity?
Yes, please.
Wow. That's quite an appeal, I mean, to who the bodies in charge, because it's a very minute issue, I mean, in comparison to the potential of the project.
Yes, because the moment when you enter, you say, this is somebody's village, a whole town.
Yeah.
Very big place.
It's a big place, wow.
So I have to get some solar for those, because 23 people do reside at the farm before others are coming. So they were in darkness. What I can do is to go in for solar.
So you've gotten solar now?
That solar, the capacity cannot do...
Power the entire facility.
Just lightning and that's all. And charging of their phones. So that is my problem.
So that's a very big concern, because that's the case where you've got the project, you've got the facility to give back to people within and women specifically within the community, but because of electricity, nothing. It's not moving forward.
So direct me to where to go. So
that's an appeal that you, given the fact that, I mean, you are in that position, should be making, right? And can use our platform to make, you know. And we will also do our best. We've got, of course, reporters across the country, so we'll do our best to further highlight that issue.
My plan to put up a crate, this crate factory. The land is there. I secure it. But because of electricity, there are a lot of... Last year, for example, when we have this water problem, I have to bought water from Accra, tanker.
And all the way there?
Other than that, the birds will die. We were not having water.
That would be pretty expensive.
Suppose I'm having electricity, them all the way there. And they say, you go for RO system. I bought it. It is there. With the mind that when I get the electricity, we can refine the water and use it ourselves. So that is my problem. So
it's a waste, I mean, really, of your investment if the power issue isn't solved, right? Wow. No, I mean, our news team, I'm going to carry this forward. Of course, they are watching, but I'll carry it forward, to ensure that we support in terms of highlighting the issue in any way that we can. Right?
Thank you very much.
Wow. And Her Excellency Simone Giga, from where you sit, I mean, there are many women, I would think, who admire you and want to be in this position and want to learn more about the field of diplomacy. What are you doing in your space to bring them on board?
Being an ambassador, you get a lot of requests, to come to events,
to
speak at events, usually I say no to a lot of things because otherwise I would simply, the day has only 24 hours.
You'll be overwhelmed.
But honestly, I have this filter if something is about women empowerment, gender equality, or also young women, doing impactful stuff. So I'm always inclined to go. So that's something where I really make time out of my busy schedule. And along the way, again, I can only say it's a win-win because that's also how I got to know some of the most amazing human beings in this country. So that's one thing. And then also I try to mentor young girls when they come to me. So it's, but it's more like giving them the confidence. I believe they have it already in them, and it's not that I can show them now all great insights that I have about the world. Very often they are already competent, they have the skills, they have the knowledge, they have everything, but maybe they lack a bit the confidence. And I want to give back that female solidarity that I have experienced in my life, and to say I'm here for you. If you have a problem, you can call me, we can talk it through. Maybe I have some brilliant idea, how you can overcome this challenge. And then, as I said, I also really try to provide platforms for women in different spheres, just to be heard and seen and have a voice.
Right, lovely, lovely. And I like the fact that you said they already have it in them. Women.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes we forget that. It's like some women may hold the magic wand for others, but we have it in us already.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I always say you have to be strong and resilient to be a woman in this world. It's really just the confidence that is sometimes lacking. And again, we shouldn't blame it on the women. It's more society, that doesn't give us that confidence. And that's why it's so important just to say, no, you can do it. Try, even if you fail, I'm here to lift you up. They're your sisters, that will be there for you. And that's very often the only thing that these girls and women need, a support network. And then the sky's the limit.
It's the limit, absolutely. Lovely, lovely. And following you as well as on social media, I do recognize that you seem to put a lot of focus on some women projects. Even our very own Nanabe's Women of Valor, for instance, you support actively. So kudos on that. Now, Pearl, how about you? You're already doing a lot in the field of Guta, and you say it was a good decision to pick you. But what more can you speak to in terms of the support you're offering women in this space?
I would talk about the challenges of supporting women. I think, as Nanaya said, this Guangzhou fair.
Yeah.
There's no way Ghana can compete with China in terms of industrialization, and we can't build on it. And now I think the foreigners are taking over our markets. In contrary to the women.
Yeah.
Most women are going out of the market. You may ask again once more, why so?
Right.
The foreigners come into the market and they take over our market. They are not supposed to retail, but then they come in and they retail. Now what they are doing is they are reaching out to the consumers, which we, the Ghanaians, are supposed to benefit from.
Yeah.
They go as far as to the consumers. So where do we go? Where do we stand? They are pushing the women gradually out of the markets. As I said, as Nanaya said, yes, we want to migrate. We want to migrate from trading to manufacturing, from manufacturing to export.
Yes.
But where do we start from? A Chinaman or a Chinese person is given a huge amount of loan with less than 1% for 5 years. In Ghana, where can we get this amount of money from? The Nigerians are being given loan with less interest rates. Where do we take it from? As my sister was saying, there are some goods you don't get it here in Ghana. You have to get it somewhere in abroad, somewhere in the diaspora or wherever. They bring it in. You, the local Ghanaian, you cannot compete with them. There is no way. Government is not saying don't come to Ghana. Come to Ghana, but don't come and retail with us. Leave the market for Ghanaians. Let us enjoy our market. Let us enjoy our market. Right. I've got my shop here, and one thing is also this: we the Ghanaians, I keep saying we are the enemies of our own self. We are like crabs. The next shop is for a Chinaman. A Ghana person will front
for the Chinese.
For the Chinese. And you know that person in the market, or you kaya you, or you power penny. The next thing is he's going out with the Chinese. Oh, so near media. You know that person doesn't even have that kind of money. Yeah. A Ghana for how many of us have $1 million? To be frank with all of us, I think it should be less than 5% or maybe 2%. This Ghana person will tell you, "Oh, my shop, it's my shop," fronting for them.
Yeah, I mean the Chinese is using them in this.
Chinese are using the Ghanaians against. That's one bitter kind of the truth against our own personal Ghanaians. And Nigeria will come to Ghana, establish a shop, export their own countrymen to come and run the shop. They will never employ a Ghanaian. They will come to Ghana, do the wholesaling. They will never wholesale to a Ghanaian. They will wholesale to Nigeria. They bring the boys down. Burkina Faso boys down, but not the Ghanaian. And we are all sitting, looking at them like that. It's going to spark one day. And if it does spark, it's not going to be good on us.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to brighten the corner where we are. I need to brighten my corner. You need to brighten your corner. All of us need to brighten our corner. Yeah. We are not saying don't come. Come. Certainly. But please leave the space for we the Ghanaians. Do the wholesaling. We come there, we come to the local market to sell. Because we don't have that kind of money. That interest rate, Bank of Ghana, even at I think it's about 11.5. Before they give it to the bank, and the bank will add theirs to it. Right. So how can we compete with them? With 1% to 11%. We can't compete with the foreign markets. Yeah. And we can't build on their industrialization. They've gone, Switzerland has gone far ahead. And you know one funny thing? The Europeans don't do that. It's the Chinese. Yeah. The Egyptians. The Nigerians. You know that?
Yes.
The Indians don't do. Yes. Right. And they are breaking us down gradually.
So where will you say that the gap is? I mean, you mentioned, you say Ghanaians, we are not supportive of one another. I mean, for the most part, not enough, right? You may find Ghanaians who are rather fronting a Chinese person shop as opposed to, the other way around. But where's the issue? Is it the nature of Ghanaians? Is it the regulators? Is it, specifically, who would you make the call to that things have to be checked?
In this aspect, I think the governments can help, but I wouldn't, as I said, we all need to brighten the corners where we are. The politician is sitting at his or her office. Right. They wouldn't know what happens in the market. So we, including myself, we need to brighten the corner where we are. We don't need to front for anybody. Right. But do you know one bitter truth about this? At the end of the day, if the Chinese come to do their business and they feel, no, now we don't want Ghana again, they are going, they leave them so dry. They leave them so dry to the driest possible minimum, and they fall back to the market again. So we need to understand that don't front for any foreigner. Brighten the corner where we are. John Mahama will not come to the market and come and say you are fronting. No. He doesn't even know them. You and I know them. So we shouldn't front for them. Look, good sir, we had this sensitization. What we're telling them is, if you partner with a foreigner, you are supposed to get some level of
remuneration
percentage,
right?
from Registrar General. It means you are involved in the business. So you know what goes on in that business. So if the China person wants to just throw you out, it's impossible. Because you've got shareholders in it.
But are they aware? Do they even understand?
So you know what goes in, what goes in and goes out. But the Ghanaian, most of the Ghanaians will not even vex for it. They will not even listen. It's like we are giving ourselves freely to these people. And one thing also, even if you are working with a foreigner, at least once a year, they are supposed to even take you to maybe this Guangzhou fair to go and see their factory, to go and see what they do. So you can write something. So in case you are working with them, you know where they are coming from. You know what you are doing. Right. They don't. Because all they know is, many director more company in them. Director by what? Director by words. If they need you, or when the VATs, or when the tax people are coming, that's where they use you.
Right.
And we need to beautify our country. That's one thing I keep saying. We need to pay our taxes. We need to pay our VATs. So we need to fight for Ghana.
Yeah.
We need to beautify Ghana. We travel. We see what goes around. So where are we Ghanaians? Where are we going? We don't need to cut corners in our VAT. We don't need to cut corners in our taxes. We need to pay. We don't need to help the foreigners.
We need to prioritize us. I mean, place ourselves in our nation first.
We don't need to let the foreigners run away with all these things.
I can see you're very impassioned by this because there's
serious
concerns
because
indeed.
Ghana is what you've got.
Yeah.
Ghana is the only country we've got. We don't have anywhere like Ghana. So why can't we do more for Ghana?
And Ghanaians at that. Right?
Ghanaians at that. At that matter. Why can't we do more?
All right.
Why do we front for them? Waiving off taxes. Waiving off, how do you call it? Like Guta, we've gone to stand of what? Giving the market women an insurance company. Whereby there's anything, even if not much, the little you can afford to get out of it,
which is a
than nothing.
Yeah.
So I think we need to do more for we the Ghanaians. This one I don't blame the politicians, no.
Yeah.
This road I will never blame the politicians. I blame we the Ghanaians.
I mean, valid points.
Especially the traders.
Especially the traders. Very salient points that you raised there. Now, ladies, as we bring everything to a close, right? I'd want to get final words. I mean, if there's a young woman, which I'm certain there is, watching us right now, probably in your sector or not, what words would you say to that woman? I mean, even given the context of the overall theme of give to gain, very briefly, what would those words be from each of you? We'll take it all round, starting from you, Pearl. I know you are worked up about this issue, but we'll take it starting from you. We'll round up.
I'm not worked up, but it's hardened my heart to know.
Understandably
because
so.
It's like Ghana is the only place we have. So why do you have to abuse it? I don't know if you are on the same page with me.
Certainly.
You don't need to abuse Ghana. And if you're a young girl watching me now, I would say more breeze to all the working girls. More breeze to your elbows. And I would say keep on fighting. Push hard. Pull yourself hard. One day, you'll be where the Lord wants you to be. The journey of 1,000 miles takes the steps. The journey is not easy as a Ghanaian. Because as I said, we don't have anywhere to go to. You go to the bank, the interest rate is over 11%. You cannot compete with the outside world. But let's keep pushing ourselves. Let's hold our hands together. Let's keep pushing ourselves. One day, you get there. There is no cut corners in life. As my daughter said, truth will prevail at the end of the day. So let's help ourselves. Let's push ourselves up. We'll get there.
Brilliant. Thank you. Her Excellency.
The fight, right?
Yeah.
And I would say, like, to a young girl, right? I would say, like, be confident, believe in yourself, but also reach out to others. You make sure that you have a support network.
Yeah, I love that.
So you don't have to do it on your own. And then also don't believe that it all relies on you. I'm very much with Pearl that, at the end of the day, you need an enabling environment, right?
Yeah.
And we cannot put the burden all back on the young girls. So please, also look for the power in the numbers and collectively fight the good fight for better gender equality so the generations that come after you can really benefit from that and use it as a springboard.
Yeah, collectively fight the good fight. That's brilliant. Thank you. Her Excellency Simone Giga. Yes, charity.
So I would say that the young girls looking at me, they should be courageous in this our agriculture.
Yeah.
And they must be open. There should not be anything like they must be truthful in whatever they are doing, because if you are truthful, you don't have money.
Yeah.
You can go to somebody to lend you something for your business, you can do it. But if you are saying that, oh, this is my chance, let me borrow this, and you squander the money without paying back, you cannot grow. Absolutely. So they must nurture themselves with such a thing, and I think encourage themselves. Don't say that this is man's job. We are all human beings. If somebody can do it, you can do it better than the person. So I'm encouraging them to have the hope and courage, to move forward in all endeavors.
Beautiful. And you speak to courage. Your story speaks to courage so brilliantly. So thank you for sharing. And be honest and honorable is what you're saying as well. Now, Bree, what would you say to the young ladies watching you?
I'll tell them to love themselves first. If you don't love yourself, no one will love you. No one can love yourself better than yourself. Value and find a good sisterhood, because everybody needs someone. A good network always helps. I have been blessed to have a strong network of women around me, even from high school. We are still together. It's been 25 years since school, and we're still going strong. Perimenopausal, but we are still going strong. We show up for each other all the time. So you need to have a network able to support you, and never give up. Resilience is very important. As Simone said, you need to be resilient because it's not always going to be easy, but you need to be resilient, else nothing ever happens.
It wouldn't work.
Yeah, it won't work.
That's so true. Thank you so much, Bree, for sharing. Now, Nanaya, you're still there on Zoom, I believe. Now, first of all, I was asking the ladies on the panel what contribution is being made personally in your sector to women. So I'd want you to speak to that briefly, and then what your final and closing words would be.
Okay, thank you very much, Natalie. You yourself and Kojo were part of us when we launched Women in Sustainability Africa with the United Nations. So far, we've come very far, and there are many projects that we are bringing up. I think I highlighted some of them earlier. I must say, Her Excellency Simone has been very, very instrumental and very helpful to the WISA project. I know she hasn't mentioned it, but I'm letting that out. Okay. And she's one of our patrons that we cherish a lot. I would just want to say that, as Bree just said, sisterhood is very important. Having a team and people who look out for each other is very important. In fact, that is our strength as women. And to give an encouragement to every woman out there, I want to say that I want to stand on Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. I'm also a pastor. So I want to stand on Genesis 2, verse 18 to say that it was only man. Man was the only creation that God made, and God said he's not good. And God said, man is not good to be alone. Let me make him a helper. So to the extent that God will say that making man a helper will make man good, and making that helper the woman means that there is just something special and potential in a woman that is beyond kinetic energy, that brings things into being when that power is activated in the woman. So only if we can believe in ourselves and trust and be able to envision and let our minds and our thinking caps run far and wild, there's so much inside of us and so much that we can do. Then the world can never be in a balance without the woman. So with that being said, I want to also quickly mention some of the projects that we're doing. So as far as industry is concerned, what I mentioned was the Canton Fair. So for anybody who wants to research on it, it's called the Canton Fair. It happens in China every February and in October. over 3 weeks period, 21 days. It brings together the biggest manufacturers all over the world. It's not only Chinese.
Right.
All over, you find people from Israel, from everywhere, so that you can do partnerships and brand sensitization, brand collaborations with people. And indeed, as I believe it was Madam Pearl who mentioned, we really need to review. For me, what I want to say as a solution to the questions that she raised is that one, GIPC Act needs to be reviewed to prevent our foreigners from getting into the retail side. Right. The GIPC Act is clearly stated, it's there, but the enforcement is one thing, and then also the amounts that have been stated is another thing. It must be reviewed, especially as we have lost a lot in terms of the value in our cedi to the dollar. So that has to be reviewed. The amount of money that investors will have to be in to even invest in Ghana, would have to bring to be invest in Ghana, has to be reviewed. We also have a women economic project, a very, very ambitious one that we're bringing together, and that is going to see to the collaboration of women. As women, we must note that coming together and bringing our resources together is what will take us to the next level. As Madam Pearl said, you cannot compete with the Chinese and the level of funding. But what can our women's bank, as President Mahama is bringing into the picture, do? What we are looking at is that we want to have special economic projects that are tailored for women, that will bring women together, pool resources together, hold the hands of women to achieve those targets. Not just tick the box and say we've launched this project and we have created this fund and that's it. But we must be able to do that. And we are championing that. And in good time, WISA will come out when some of these things are clear. Right. So we have our Women in Sustainability Africa Festival coming up on the 1st of May. And it will give people opportunities like Bree, who is in the fashion sector. I would encourage Bree to go into the use of fashion with sustainable materials. We are encouraging that very much. So at the festival, we're going to unearth an outdoor and celebrate women who are involved in the various sustainability sectors, people in the circular economy, using, let's say, food items to make clothes, using waste to turn it into, usable items. We would also be looking at renewable energies, women in that sector. Yeah. We're going to bring investors into the space, venture capitalists. There are funds that we are inviting into the space. We encourage every woman to be a part of it. We don't want to hide the information. We want to make it public. So I'm using this opportunity to do that. And as we get closer, we'll put the advertising out there. We want to do business matching over there and bring investors together. And opportunities for funding would also be made available. Wonderful. And as General Manager of EIB Network, on behalf of my team, including Natalie, I want to thank all of you for coming into the studio to join us today. And Natalie, I also want to encourage you. You are doing so much for women. You have not talked about yourself. I'm talking for you because I do. And as you travel around, empowering women and in Ghana, the projects that you do, keep pushing yourself and keep being a woman in the media who is using her spotlight to also highlight the plight of other women. Indeed, let's carry on with the special story that you want to do for Madam Charity.
Right. Yes.
Let's put that story out there.
Absolutely.
And Madam Charity, please, beyond this conversation, kindly take my contact from Natalie and let's take it there. There are some interventions that I may propose.
Wonderful.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for
much.
the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Nanaya, for those perfect words to close us out. And it was a pleasure to be part of WISA, Women in Sustainability Africa, and I look forward to all that is ahead, obviously in partnership with EIB Network as well. Ladies, it's been wonderful having you. One of the benefits of being a journalist and a presenter is being able to get so much wisdom from people by engaging in such conversations. So I look forward, even as Nanaya said, to collaborating in some way and featuring this very important power-related story on our network, and I could hope that we would get a solution to that. And thank you, each of you, for sharing your stories. It's been brilliant. Pearl Poku, trader, Charity Akotia, Best Farmer 2023, Nanaya Sewasapong, of course, GM, EIB Network, Bree Redu, fashion designer, and Her Excellency Simone Giga. Thank you all so much for taking the time out to be a part of this conversation. Happy International Women's Day to you. Women's Day is every day, I like it. So, thank you all so much for being a part of this. It's been an honor. And thank you for watching and taking time out of your day to mark this wonderful conversation as we celebrate International Women's Day 2026 with the theme, Give to Gain. It reminds us that progress begins when we choose to invest in each other, when we give opportunity, when we give mentorship, when we give support to our fellow women. We create a world where women and girls can truly, truly thrive. When women rise, societies prosper. So thank you so much to our incredible panel for sharing your insights with us today, and thank you to our viewers for joining us as well. I am Natalie Fort. Happy International Women's Day to you. Thank you for watching in, for tuning in live on GHOne TV, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and X at GHOne TV. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.